This week, this Friday, of course, has a theme. Besides Halloween, we have a bunch of plea deals, but more important, for me at least, there are 2 more on this trial and 12 more in the background awaiting trial. We all need to recognize that, remember that, and keep the pressure going on Fulton County. And helping me is a big word to say when it comes to our first couple of guests. Welcome to the show, Mr. Weinstein, Mr. Schardt.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Oh,
glad to be here.
Having you on.
I'm very honored to have you all here. I mean, I've been watching you guys for close to 2 years now, and from pre-trial to the very interesting Dorbert hearings, with my absolute favorite Dorbert hearing of all time, the pinch and zoom guy.
I didn't know that was streamed.
It was. It was one of the first thing I covered way back when, and I'm just the prosecution tries to have that guy. For you guys in the audience who don't remember, that is the guy the prosecution wanted in as a forensic video analyst, and during cross-examination, it was revealed that what he does was he gets a video from the investigator or the prosecution or whatever's, pause it, screenshots, put it in Photoshop, and then pinch and zooms. Yeah, that was not even Judge Glanville could accept him as an expert in that area, but he did accept him as a video enhancing expert. But the prosecution chose to not call him for whatever reason. Now, you guys really don't need any introduction, but please, Max, beauty before age, introduce yourself.
Nick, first of all, I never really took note of all your hair, and I am jealous. If I had like 10% of that flowing mane, I'd be a happy man. But I represent Shannon Stillwell in this case, as I'm sure a lot of the listeners know. I think it's very important, and the reason I'm here today is because I've been on Twitter for the last 24 hours. I am so thrilled for my friend Brian Steele, my friend Keith Adams, and my friend Jeffrey Williams that they are home. I'm happy that other people got resolutions that they are happy with. But the reality is I wanted to make sure that even if Jeffrey, of course, he's a superstar and we recognize that, and he is no longer in this case, I wanted to make sure that we did keep the pressure on. I talked to the people in the media. I was chastising them for even thinking about leaving the courtroom. The cameras are staying. And if I want people to continue to tune in, I'm trying to make myself accessible to the people as well, because it's a two-way street, and we really want to keep people engaged in this process because, as Attorney Steele and Attorney Adams said yesterday, a lot of this movement and a lot of the outcomes that have come, I think, are directly people paying attention to what's going on. So we appreciate that, and I want to make sure that continues.
Yeah, I'm doing my very best for all the people in the audience. Watch everybody covering this, because every view on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, whatever, keeps the pressure and keeps the media attention. Because media wants to make money out of this, and some of the media has a moral responsibility and feels the moral responsibility, but they can't let it go if we don't let it go.
Right.
That's right. That's right. And
And
yes, I'm Doug Weinstein. I'm one of Deamonte Kendrick's 3 attorneys in this case. And Nick, it is good to be on again to your show. I really can't say what I wanted to say what Max had to say, but I can't say it any better. Obviously, I too am thrilled for Brian and Keith and his entire team, his huge team that worked on this case, and that is a resource that will be sorely missed going forward, as well as just having them around, along with all the other attorneys that we've lost over the last week. And to have to continue on with Max and no other attorney there to water him down is obviously a challenge for me, but I will do my best. I want to repeat what I am going to repeat what Max said, even though I'm not going to say it any better. It is so important that all of you guys keep following this case and keep the pressure on and keep the light shining on what's going on in this courtroom, because I think that is an example of, sadly, what goes on in too many courtrooms, and I wish they could all be televised. But I want to keep it on in this one at least, and we appreciate your support. I think I haven't spoken to Law and Crime or whoever's paying for this pool camera, but I imagine that as long as people are getting streams, they'll keep the camera there. So if you guys are streaming it, I'd love you to keep doing it, because I don't know what will happen if the streams drop. I haven't specifically asked about that, but to the extent y'all can keep watching and they can keep eyes on things, then I'm hoping that feed stays there. So, yeah. And also, if y'all don't know this, and I've said it, Max has probably said it. The guys know that y'all are supporting them. They see your social media posts. I show them. I'm not going to speak for Max, but we all watch the streams and they see the comments as well in the streams. So it's appreciated by Deamonte.
Absolutely. Yeah.
oh, okay, thank you so much for the introductions. And well, today is partly about the plea deals, and I have to address one thing that Bruce Harvey got the first deal, and the look on Miss Hilton's face when he argued back. Oh, they did not expect that. And just a question: the somewhat success in these guys' plea deals, how can you use that? Or, on the other hand, how can you stop the prosecution from using it?
So
if you're able to answer it.
Well, the bottom line is the jurors are to know. The point is that the jurors are not supposed to take anything from the fact that people are not at trial starting on Monday. Obviously, we've gone from 6 people to 2 people. I've gone from the back row. Now I'm going to be in the front table, I'd presume. So people are going to notice, but they're going to be instructed, the jurors are going to be instructed that nothing is to be taken from the fact that it's gone from 6 to 2. So we're not going to, neither side should use that. Neither side should know about the pleas. But I will say, when you talked about Attorney Harvey, and Attorney Harvey's a fighter, so he's not going to back down. And we've gone from, we saw cooperating witnesses, we'll say, co-defendants that pled, essentially have scripts written for them. And then they initial it, and under immense duress, under immense pressure and coercion. And, Mr. Harvey and Miss Westmoreland, Mr. Lamar, representing Mr. Nichols, they pushed back, and they did not let the state dictate the narrative of what they were saying happened and didn't happen. And then we saw with Mr. Williams yesterday, the hang up, Attorney Steele brought that out and saying, this was a hang up. The state was asking for probation at first, but they wanted to write the script of what Jeffrey was supposed to say as part of the plea. And they pushed back on that. So I think what we're starting to see is people push back on the state script and the narrative that they're trying to put out there. And of course, that's all we've been saying from the beginning is that narrative is not correct.
Yeah. And nothing against what the folks that pled out earlier did, where they did have to take those scripts, because obviously the circumstances have changed somewhat over the past couple of years since those folks pled out. So nothing against what those attorneys negotiated 2+ years ago. But it really, I think Bruce Harvey showed the way forward, where he kind of set the precedent of, no, we're not accepting your narrative. We're not just going to sign on to really your false narration of what you want to say the facts are. They stuck to their truth, which is the real truth, and they didn't sign on to those things.